The first time Commander Veyran looked at me, his eyes skimmed past as though I were a shadow clinging to the steel walls of the ship. I was a repair technician, a background presence among the ranks of decorated officers aboard the Vanguard, the flagship of the Terran Dominion fleet. No medals gleamed on my chest. No combat records bore my name. To him, I was the quiet, forgettable one who worked in the underbelly of the ship, tightening coolant valves and sealing plasma leaks while he and his officers dined in the grand chamber under banners of conquest. Even then, I remember his words, spoken carelessly to another officer. Men like him are replaceable. 1,000 cogs for the great Dominion machine. They live and die unseen. It burned, but I said nothing. I had learned to wear invisibility like armor. In the bowels of the ship, my hands learned every circuit, every junction of the vessel. I was closer to its heart than any of the proud officers above. And in silence I watched. But the universe has a way of testing the arrogance of men like Veyran. And when the test came, it was not his medals, not his authority, not his command codes that would save him. It was me, the shadow he once dismissed. The shattered chain of command. The incident began in the uncharted sectors of the Thalros Expanse. The Dominion sought to expand its influence, strip mining planets rich with rare ores. But the expanse was not empty. Something lived there, something old, something unrecorded in our databases. It came first as distortions in the NAV feed, ghost signatures that flickered like false stars across our holomaps. Then came the whispers through the comm system, voices layered over static, speaking in harmonics not human. The crew grew uneasy. Officers barked orders demanding discipline, but fear was a seed rooting deep. Then, without warning, the Vanguard was swallowed. A black rift split open in space, like a wound tearing through the fabric of reality. Our ship was pulled through before engines could fire. We emerged not in the expanse, but in a realm that defied comprehension. The stars were wrong, twisting spirals of burning shapes that shifted like living organisms. A void of colors no human eye should see pulsed at the edges of perception. And waiting for us were the architects. They were not ships as we knew them, but constructs, vast, cathedral-like vessels built of light and matter, moving with the grace of leviathans. Their voices filled our minds not through sound, but direct resonance. Travelers, trespassers, thieves. The bridge was chaos. Veyran shouted orders. The helmsman tried to spin the ship free, but every system failed as though some unseen hand gripped us. Weapons were useless. Shields flickered into nothingness. That was when I felt it, the pulse of their technology. To the others it was unknowable. To me it was familiar. The resonance whispered through the ship's conduits, like an echo searching for recognition. I touched a console, and it lit beneath my fingers though no power should have flowed through. The architects were probing the ship's systems, mapping it, dissecting it. And somehow, I could hear them, understand them. For years I had been dismissed as a repairman, unnoticed in the crawlspaces. But I had always been different. I could feel machines the way others felt weather on their skin. My hands repaired things not just by training but by instinct. I never told anyone, not that it mattered, who listened to someone like me. Now, in this alien realm, my difference became our only hope. The rise of the nothing. While Veyran raged and panicked officers scrambled, I slipped into the maintenance deck and opened the interface cores. What I did then was not calculation, it was communion. I let the resonance flow into me. Images filled my mind, visions of how the architects wove reality itself with frequencies, how their constructs existed between dimensions. They were not simply ships. They were extensions of themselves, bodies of thought and will. He spoke back. Not with words, but with the language of circuits and harmonics. And they heard me. The architects paused their unraveling of the Vanguard. Their voices pressed into me. You are not like the others. Through me they tested. Through me they learned. And in turn I learned them. Where Veyran saw unknowable gods, I saw equations. Where the officers saw annihilation, I saw a dialogue. For hours, or perhaps days, time was strange there. I stood as the only tether between humanity and destruction. The architects demanded surrender, demanded the Dominion retreat forever. Veyran tried to bargain, tried to threaten with the might of fleets that could never reach us here. His words were dust to them, but mine carried weight. I offered them something they could not ignore: understanding. I bridged human technology with their own, showed them how our crude drives mirrored echoes of their ancient methods. In return, they revealed fragments of knowledge, slivers of power far beyond Dominion science. And slowly, impossibly, they began to respect me. The fall of Veyran. Veyran hated it. Every moment the architects listened to me instead of him eroded the foundations of his authority. He confronted me in front of the crew, fury burning in his eyes. You are a mechanic, a ghost in the ducts. You will not undermine my command. But when he tried to override the interface, the systems refused him. They recognized only me. The architects had chosen their conduit. It was not me who made him kneel. It was inevitability. The ship no longer answered to him. The crew, desperate for survival, turned their eyes to me. And Veyran, for all his medals, stood powerless. I told him then the words he once spoke of me. Men like me are replaceable. 1,000 cogs. Yet here I stand, the cog you cannot function without. For the first time, silence replaced his arrogance. Middle turning to climax. The master of two worlds. The architects gave us a choice. Either the Vanguard would remain, bound in their realm as tribute to their vigilance, or we would return, on one condition. Someone must carry their mark. Someone must be the bridge between species. They did not choose Veyran. They did not choose the Dominion's proud officers. They chose me. The moment they touched me, everything changed. My mind expanded, flooded with architectures of thought not human. I saw the lattice of the universe, the equations written into the bones of reality. I could feel the hum of energy coursing through every machine aboard the Vanguard. The ship was no longer steel and alloy to me. It was an extension of my will. When the Vanguard slipped back into real space, it was by my hand. The rift closed behind us, and stars of the Thalros Expanse glittered like nothing had happened. But everything had changed. The crew looked at me with awe, fear, reverence. And Veyran bowed his head, unable to meet my eyes. Ending. From nothing to master. Word spread quickly through the Dominion. A low-born technician had returned, wielding knowledge the Admiralty could barely comprehend. They demanded answers, demanded obedience. But their commands held no weight anymore. I was no longer bound by ranks or insignia. The architects had not simply given me power. They had given me purpose. Bridge. A master of resonance. A voice between civilizations.